with Chamuel, I always have seen him associated with like next steps and helping us to make decisions and helping us to take action and helping us to like I always connected to, if you're at a cross in the road, like a fork in the road, and it's kind of like, do I take path A or path B? It's not so much that he tells you like you should take path B, but it's more so he helps you to tune into your path of highest alignment so that you can, from an internal place, see, oh yeah, path B is the one that's aligned for me, and then make that decision. Welcome to the Angelic Frequency Podcast. We are your hosts, Cristina and
Luisa, and today we had a lovely conversation with Archangel Uriel and Archangel Chamuel that came forward to talk to us about this energetic flow and what's unfolding for us in the fall and this creative energy surge that we're experiencing. But we also talk about human design and lots of interesting stuff. So we hope you enjoy. Let's dive in.
Hello. Oh my gosh. Here we are again. How are you doing? Oh my gosh. I feel like, I
am barely doing.
She's barely doing.
I'm barely doing. Yeah, I know I've been sick and you can still hear it in my voice. So apologies everyone who's listening today to my raspy voice. But yeah, I've been very sick. So I've been really low energy. And we were talking about this. I even missed like an important something astrological that was happening.
Oh,
like
yeah.
The activation Lionsgate thing. And I was like, I was so sick that I didn't
sleeping through it. She was napping.
Understand what it was. I just crawled under whatever that was. But yeah. It's been rough. How are you?
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I feel thankfully not sick, but I feel a similar sense of just like, inward, like obviously when you're sick, you just go very inward. I've felt that energy, like this inward pull, like more kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, aside like going within. And I just feel like when I'm tuning in, like energetically or collectively, it just feels like there's a lot happening. I mean, I am no astrology expert at all, but I know there's been a lot going on with the planets, and then the Lionsgate, like you were saying, and Mercury and blah blah blah, and whatever else is going on with the planets, which is obviously always something going on. But I don't know. I just feel like it's been an interesting last few weeks. I feel where we're kind of, and actually, as we're talking about this, I'm just gonna, okay, whatever. The angels want to come forward. Fine. Hi, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Chamuel. They're coming forward right now.
Yay, I love
Wasn't expecting that at all.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast featuring Uriel and Chamuel today. But what I was gonna say, this is so crazy how it just like started to come through like this, but it feels like it's this like lull period before this expansion period is what they were showing me. It just feels like right now, like as we move through the last few weeks of summer, how we're it's almost like this wind down a little bit, but then there's this burst of energy that's coming through as we enter into the fall. And I think that it seems very, I guess, relevant because, we kind of go into change in seasons and change in routines for a lot of people going back to school and all that. Back to all the things, I feel like also with the fall comes all the, it's a change in weather, and then it's like Halloween, and then Thanksgiving, and this and this and this, like all these things are happening, like seasonally.
Halloween everywhere I go. So yeah,
You've already been seeing it. That's insane.
Yes, stores are stocking like Halloween stuff, so it's happening. It's happening.
It's already happening. I never understood how stores like just do it so early. It's
consumerism. That's another one.
They like remind us, hey, don't forget to spend your money here because Halloween. Yeah.
Okay, but back to the angels and Uriel and Chamuel that came through, because I mean Uriel makes sense. So maybe walk us through that. Like what are traditionally their roles when it comes to that? Because Uriel is kind of the manifester, like that's what I've kind of been told and learned through the years, that Uriel, whenever you want to manifest something like more of like on physical and job, money, like whatever it is that you need, that's kind of the guide to go to.
Ooh, interesting.
Those kinds of things. Yeah. So that's kind of my understanding of what that looked like. So whenever I was in trouble or wanted to manifest something physical, like material, that's
You're
it.
like, Uriel,
That's the
you're
go-to
on it.
angel.
Yeah.
Uriel, I need to figure this out.
Yeah.
Samuel, look, I guess let's take a step back, walk us through
Yeah.
tradition. What are
Each
their roles
one.
and why they are coming
Yeah.
forward
That's a
when
good
it comes to
question.
this topic?
It's always a question. Why are you coming
Why are
forward right
you
now?
here?
Like, because before I get into them, just a quick note. I feel like sometimes it seems random who's coming forward, where it's not always like the traditional meaning or like what they're associated with, but they always have their reasons, I guess. So we'll find out why they're coming forward. Yeah. But for me personally, with Uriel, I associate him with, of course, the solar plexus chakra. I associate him with the energy of the sun too. He feels like this bright energy and this energy of like he comes, I see him in like a yellow color, and I associate him with connecting with our higher self, connecting with our like intuition, our personal power. So like solar plexus stuff where like confidence and being able to feel empowered within ourselves and being able, which going to what you were saying, you know, if we're manifesting and really wanting to show up in the physical world in a certain way, those are all qualities that are important to develop on like a energetic level anyways, you know. So that's how I've always like seen him. So or like associated his energy. And so then asking, so why are you coming forward right now? Or what? To me, it feels like he's like what's the word? It's like, feels like the battery getting plugged in. Like he's like the solar power, like the energy. He's
like here's
yeah, like we're like right now we're in a lull, which is fine. It feels more like a take that space, but also it feels like as we rev back up, he's the engine. He's like, let's go. We're gonna, you know, it feels like a refresh too, like a fresh new energy in a way, which I guess again, fall coming up and like changing seasons and all that, bringing in
how you
that.
need a vacation after your vacation,
Yeah.
like that period, the
Yes.
recharge before your time off. Okay,
Exactly.
perfect.
Exactly that. Yes, exactly. So I guess, yeah, so that's his kind of thing. And then with Chamuel, I always have seen him associated with like next steps and helping us to make decisions and helping us to take action and helping us to like I always connected to, you know, if you're at a cross in the road, like fork in the road, and it's kind of like, do I take path A or path B? It's not so much that he tells you like you should take path B, but it's more so he helps you to tune into your path of highest alignment so that you can, from an internal place, see, oh yeah, path B is the one that's aligned for me, and then make that decision, you know? So they actually kind of work really well hand in hand together because it's like,
makes a lot of sense.
be empowered, connected to your higher self, and then here, let's make decisions and stop overthinking and just take action. Like I also associate him with action, you know, in that way. So
that's great. Okay, so that makes sense how they would work together and get us through this lull period and out into some like action into fall.
yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Let's go back to what just happened, the whole thing that I missed.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not like this. I'm all over everything that you do, but I was so sick.
Yeah.
The Lion's Gate.
Yeah.
What is that?
So that is an event that happens every year on the 8th of August. So it's on 8/8. And but well, okay, no, actually let me backtrack for a second. The Lion's Gate is more of like a time period. So it starts, I forget when exactly, if it's the end of July or like maybe it's like a week before or something like that. So it starts a little bit before and it ends a few days later. So I think it's like until the 12th or something of August. But 8/8 is what's considered the peak of the time, you know, and essentially it has to do with, I believe it's the Earth, the Sun, and Sirius aligning in some way where it increases the energy, the frequency of what's coming in. You know, people call it a portal of energy that opens up that helps us to align to a higher frequency or like a higher timeline, like more of our potential. And it makes it more accessible is what it is. It kind of feels more accessible where we feel more connected to it and helps us to kind of elevate to that whatever that level is, whatever the next thing is for us, you know? So,
Okay.
so then around the Lion's Gate, a lot of people talk about, well, what are your intentions, or like, what are you desiring? Kind of like this hyper speed manifestation portal time period kind of a thing, you know? So to me, I feel like I like that, like, I don't know, exploring things like that and that energy, but I also feel like it's so important to honor where you are it like during that time, that whatever you're experiencing during that time period is what you need. Like, you're naturally being guided energetically into your next level, as long as you're like intentional in terms of what's coming up for you and how you're navigating it. Meaning, what I mean by this is that not everyone is going to feel like, oh my God, I'm so high vibe on August 8th. And like, I feel so good and I'm manifesting, you know what I mean? And then like, I don't want people to think like, oh man, I wasn't feeling that great, or I was down on myself on that day. And so I've missed my chance to manifest or like really set the intention for something that I really desire. I feel like it's a time period that we all go through to cleanse, to release, to let go. You know what I mean? So for everyone's going to experience it differently. Like, you were sick, like you were napping under a rock, like
Yeah.
away from the outside world. But it doesn't mean that you didn't get it doesn't mean that you missed out on anything. You know what I mean? It's like you went through what you needed to go through. I believe like anytime that we're sick, that it resets us in some way, or helps us to let go of things in some way, or whatever. Like you physically, it's the physical expression, we'll say, or manifestation of whatever your body and your energy is processing. You know what I mean? And it also forces you to slow down. And that sometimes is part
Yeah.
of our journey, where it's like, hold on, slow down a second, you know? But so you were like reset to slow down in order to recalibrate and realign with where you're going next, kind of a thing. You know what I
Interesting.
mean?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. But also connecting the dots between all the things that we're talking about, and how this like portal opened and kind of starting to help people step into that new time of year, and then Chamuel and Uriel coming through to also help us kind of do
Right.
that, and in that
Exactly.
reset and then activation into the fall and what's coming next this year. So
Yeah.
it all seems like interconnected somehow.
Yeah. It totally
Yeah.
is.
And weirdly enough, even though I was sick, I did have like this surge of energy, creative energy for certain things. I
Mm.
was able to move certain things forward, especially around the podcast and all the stuff, the new content that we're doing for the new channel for the podcast, and for Angelic Circle and a meditation like project that I have going on. So that it was kind of interesting enough. I wasn't feeling well for a lot of things, but there was this surge of creativity around those.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes. Yes. Which to me, it's like you you were forced to create more spaciousness, because you kind of, it's like when we're sick, we only have such a capacity for our regular everyday responsibilities and all the things that we hold and do and whatever. So it kind of like, in that spaciousness, your creativity of what your soul really wants to focus on came forward, which is
yeah,
pretty cool. And I
yeah,
actually noticed that for myself too, where I've had this, like I was telling you, this like inward kind of like going more of that inward energy. But in the spaciousness, I'm like, oh, like really seeing what I want to focus on creatively,
yeah,
instead of being busy. And that's been a thing for me, where in the past, when there was spaciousness, it would like make me immediately feel like I needed to fill in the space. You know what I mean? Like, I
right.
need to be busy. But now I've actually noticed the shift, where in the spaciousness, I was like being very mindful for the first time ever in my life of like, oh, wait, let me just enjoy the spaciousness and just like let it be and see what wants to come through here. And I found that to be very much more, I don't know, intentional energy coming forward rather than being busy.
Okay, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And that's part of that recalibration and just focus on the actual
Yeah.
stuff that you need to be doing right now. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, question for the angels. And so they're coming forward. What is a way in which people, generally speaking, could connect with both of them to do that? Like, is it meditation? Is it calling
Mm,
on them? Is it like how do we work with them?
how do we work with them? That's a great question. Okay, guys, who's coming up first? No, but Uriel, I feel Uriel's energy coming forward. And I feel like he's definitely coming through with this energy in connecting with solar plexus chakra. Like I think I mentioned at the beginning too, but that's what he keeps showing me right now as we're talking about it. Like I literally, the image that I see is him holding this big ball of white light, and like he's placing it in our solar plexus chakras, like every single one of us, and even just having a simple meditative practice where you don't actually really need to go into this deep meditation for this, is just closing your eyes, taking a few deep breaths, calling Archangel Uriel, and then imagining this big white ball of energy coming into your solar plexus chakra. It feels like a awakening or an activation of sorts, within our own self, of that energy that's connected to our higher self and connected to our intuition and that confidence energy about in terms of like our truth and who we are. One of the actually things that's coming forward right now too that I forgot to mention earlier with Chamuel is part of his presence that comes through sometimes is also to help with creativity, which is interesting because we talked
There
about
you
that.
go. That explains a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And he brings in creative energy as well. Other angels too, like Jophiel, for example, she also helps with creativity. And like we could go on and on now, but she's the only other one, right, that's coming forward right now. But it feels like, yeah, aside from that, I feel like the other thing that they're guiding people to do is to ask ourselves what creative projects or creative ideas or like creative pursuits light us up. Like what would feel fun and exciting to just start playing around with, to start
Yeah.
creating, and just kind of see what you feel guided to do. And, maybe it's just doing like doodling. Like, I don't know, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but just allowing yourself to get a little bit more creative. And in that, it's interesting because I've seen this too, and I've seen it in content that's specifically related to children, to be honest, like, like on Instagram. Obviously, Instagram knows that I'm a mom and it will, push like mom related things or kid related things to me. But those like recommended posts or whatever that show up on your feed. And I've seen posts where it says, it's okay to let your kids be bored sometimes because it's in boredom that they become creative. And
Yeah.
I feel like that applies to us too, like as adults. It's not just
Totally.
kids, and as an adult, to when you allow, which I think is that spaciousness that we were talking about before, when like in your case, forced to slow down because of being sick, or just in general noticing a little bit of a lull or quiet moment in general, and in that space of what might feel like boredom, where we tend to like, well, let me just distract myself, let me just like,
Yeah.
in the boredom, that's where creativity is born. I think it's very true for adults too.
Absolutely. And it makes so much sense. Yes. The fact that I was forced to stop and, slow down and wasn't so focused on other stuff that I generally do. So that allowed the space for me to actually be able to shift gears. And yeah, in boredom, I found some
Yeah,
creative things I
exactly.
wanted to do. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, that makes a lot of sense actually. I mean, there you go. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
In hindsight. Okay,
Yeah.
that's really good. That's really
So
good.
good. Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that they want to share with regards to like practices and things. But no, I feel as like when we give ourselves a space to be bored and then therefore see what creative energy wants to come forward, then it's taking action. So then, but if you find yourself like, being a procrastinator and being like, oh yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. I
Oh,
really want to
that's
do
so
that, but
surprised.
I'll do it later. Right? Like, who does that? We're all
Yeah,
raising our hands. Like,
of course.
you know.
That's so interesting. Okay, I something just very random, but it came to mind because it's been happening for the last couple of days. Do they are any of their signs or symbols associated with butterflies by any chance?
Usually butterflies I've associated with Archangel Raphael,
Ah,
generally speaking.
okay, then maybe it doesn't have to do with that. But it just came to pop into my mind to ask about that, if any of them related to butterfly. I've
Oh.
been seeing butterflies everywhere for some reason for the last couple of days.
Yeah, if
So
anything, I would say Archangel Chamuel, because I don't think Archangel Raphael has like a monopoly on butterflies, where he's like,
no, I
butterflies are
don't.
only from me. You know,
These are mine,
yeah,
just mine.
I can
Yeah.
only bring that sign. None of you other archangels can do butterflies. No.
But one of those things where it's just so evident that they're trying to show you something. Like I
Yeah,
was driving
right.
somewhere, and then on the side of this car, on the side of a truck, the
Oh,
monarch, and then a huge butterfly. And then I started to see yellow butterflies everywhere. And then on TV, I saw a butterfly in
whoa.
my daughter's pajama that I pulled like randomly had a
Yeah,
butterfly. Like it's just they're so
very obvious.
everywhere for
Yeah.
2 days that I'm like, I don't understand. What is it? What is butterfly?
I feel like that's Samuel talking to you and talking about like your like creative energy that you've been in, and it feels like an energy of like keep doing that, like keep a lot, like having that at the forefront of what, you know what I mean, kind of like that driver, it feels like, and
Yeah.
putting energy towards that, if that makes sense.
And that's lovely. Thank you so much. And I have you to translate those things for me. But how would one person get
Right.
from random butterfly
Right.
to Archangel Chamuel is trying to get me to be creative and keep doing what I'm doing,
Yeah.
cheering me on and trying to,
Right.
it's so sometimes the things that they do.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just, I guess she was just like, tell Christina about this and she'll tell
Yeah.
you what that's
And
about,
she'll tell you, yeah.
which is great for everyone else who doesn't have
Right,
Christina
right.
on
Exactly.
call. Like,
That's a good that's a really great question. I feel like, huh, where do we start with this? Well, I feel like for one, it's noted like when you, for anyone listening, like you notice a certain sign, like we'll just use butterflies as the example, right? And you
mhm.
notice that it's coming up in a way where it's getting your attention and you're like, okay, obviously you're trying to tell me something and whatever. And so as you start to notice it, like notice what you've been doing or like what actions you've been taking or what you've been thinking about, or just, I feel like in general, kind of like an assessment for yourself in your life. Because I feel like oftentimes if we can kind of see like, okay, I started doing this new thing and then I started to get these signs of like the butterfly as I'm doing this, like maybe it's connected kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Then I know also people will be like, but I need confirmation. I need a million other signs to confirm that what
Right.
I'm thinking is actually what it is. Because is it what it is? I don't know. And in that case, you could say something like, okay, show me which angel is the one who's communicating with me, and then pay attention to what name pops up or which angel starts to come forward. Like, let's say if you're pulling a card from an angel card
The
deck,
deck, yeah.
then it's like, oh, okay, so this angel is the one who's sending me this sign, kind of a thing. You can ask in that way. You can ask in meditation. I also like to ask sometimes in dreams too, like before I go to bed, and I'll be like, anything that I need to know or whatever, like show me in my dream, kind of a thing. Doesn't
Okay.
always happen, but sometimes it will. Yeah, those are a couple things that just come up off the top of my head in that way.
Okay. No, that's super useful. Generally speaking, beyond my butterflies, are there any signs or symbols associated with Chamuel and Uriel?
Mm.
So Uriel is, you said yellow.
Yeah, yellow, like the sun energy, anything that brings that type of like warmth kind of feeling and like that energy. But even now as we're talking, they're not showing me anything specific with regards to symbols. Nothing
Because we get
that I'm
hung up on
seeing.
specificity and symbols. If so, if we say butterfly, everyone's going to be looking for a butterfly.
Right, exactly. Like, you're not getting anything specific. No, I'm just kidding. But
You're
yeah.
just using that against yourself later. And I guess, yeah, I mean, and I tend to hyper focus on little things like that. It's like, that's
Right.
not the point. We're trying to, and
Yeah.
I'm like, butterflies. He's like, no, the message behind the
Right.
butterfly, get over the butterfly. So I get
Right.
why they didn't give us anything specific so that we don't get,
Yeah. Hung up on
tied
it.
to a specific
Yeah.
anything. It's just whatever comes to mind, the first thing that you feel like,
Yeah.
and try and ask for confirmation and just trust that they're going to kind of give you a sign.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that they're gonna bring you the sign and that they're gonna I find that oftentimes signs are like confirmation of what we already know or what we're already doing kind of a thing
Mm-hmm.
versus like direct like guidance, you should do this. I find that it's more so already like more of like a confirmation of what I was already thinking or what I've already been kind of working on and them being like, yes, keep going, like, yes,
Yes,
you got
that's it.
this, you
That's the
know?
thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. So that's the mystery behind the butterflies. That's great. That's good to know. And they've all been really, yeah, angelic, fun things that don't feel that is just fun stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
So that's all great.
I
I
love
just need
that.
my voice back so that I can actually do
Yeah.
the things that I want to do.
Archangel Gabriel, where are you?
Gabriel, I need my voice back so that I can record the voiceover on some meditations I've been working. So hopefully soon you'll see more about that.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
That's really exciting. But yeah,
Can't wait.
I'm not doing them like this.
You'll be known as the raspy voice meditation lady. Like,
The rescue meditation. Yeah, no, no, no. I don't want to do that. So, anyways, but yeah, so interesting. And also, I think, and this, we talked about this a little bit the last time we spoke about, that's the pursuit, like whatever lights you up, whatever makes you happy, whatever if you feel like you have tons of energy and you just want to do it and it's so fun, just follow that. That's the trail.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
You're on the right path and you're usually headed to like something that's divinely guided, and that's good for
exactly.
you.
Exactly. And like you always say, where, we can't be directed and guided and course corrected if we're not taking a step in the first place. So it's like we have to start with taking the step and then we'll be redirected and continue to be guided wherever we need to go.
Okay, good, good. And
Yeah.
calling on Uriel to give us the energy, and then on Chamuel to take the next steps and the actual action that we need to take to make that happen.
Yeah. And that I feel, as we step into September and then like into that like fall new like energy, that's where I feel that is going to really come forward. We'll really notice that energy more and just it feels like there's this collective shift that's unfolding. We're all feeling it on some level. So
Interesting.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. And also like I can't believe we're in the last third of the year. Like what is happening?
How did this again, time? It doesn't make sense anymore.
I thought we just started 2025. Like this is so weird.
We just got started and then we're halfway there and we're just, It's
It's
fall. It's gonna be fall. It's insane. Yeah,
It's
I don't
so
know.
weird.
It's going so fast, honestly.
Yeah.
It's going so fast.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about travel again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a whole other thing. Okay. Shifting gears, but maybe not shifting gears. You were talking about a very interesting topic about human design.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know more because then it connects in the sense of understanding who we are, what we're all about, and how is that going to help us to take effective action towards the things that we want to create in this window. And understanding how we are and how we work better. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what you and how you've come to use it and incorporate it in your work?
I will, but with the caveat that I'm a very like
Right. We'll bring an
beginner.
expert to talk more in depth about this.
Yes, we will
That's
get
usual.
an
We'll
expert
bring
to
an
talk.
expert.
Yes. And the I have the most expertise obviously for my own, what my human design is, obviously, because that's where I'm studying it the most. But in general, so human design is, I guess you could call like a system. I don't know exactly what you would classify it as, but I know that it's based on your astrology. So it's based on your birth date, your birth time, and birthplace. You basically put that into a whatever thing, I don't know, like a calculator, I don't know what you call it, an online. If you just Google human design, you'll find a whole bunch. I like one that is called myhumandesign.com, but there's a lot of different websites that do this for you. But anyways, you just put that in, and then based on that, your birth information, it gives you a bunch of, I guess you could call it like data points about you, which the top high level is the human design type, which I believe there's 5. There's projector, generator, manifesting generator, manifester, and reflector. So essentially everyone's categorized within these 5 types. So when I was mentioning it to Luisa, we were like, okay, what are you? Like, you know, we found out that you're a generator. Yeah. I'm a projector. And then based on like these 5 categories, they have certain characteristics about them. And I feel like if we go into the details of it, it'll be like too like, I don't know, convoluted and complicated, but or not complicated, but just like if this is your first time hearing about it, you'd be like, what are you talking about? But I highly recommend everyone to just go and even just see it and kind of start to go. It really is something that I feel like is an ongoing learning process. Like for me, I discovered human design. I forget if it was 2021 or 2022, but one of those 2 years is when I first discovered it. So it's been an ongoing evolution of learning for me over these last few years, understanding what does it mean to be a projector and what does it mean, there's other classifications. Like then there's these number splits. Like mine is a 5 and a 1. Yours, I think, what was 1 and a 3, right? I think you were 1-3.
Yeah, I think so.
5-1.
Yes.
There's like all these different splits. Like some people are 3-6, and then other people are 4-1 and 2-4, or whatever. So those have different meanings too, which again, we won't get into it here, but they all have these different meanings. And essentially when you it's like these layers, the way that I see it, these layers and layers and layers, that when you bring it together, it's like, oh, that makes sense in terms of how I intuitively have been operating, but that maybe I thought it was wrong for me to be operating this way, or that like, I'm not being productive enough, or I'm not being this enough or that enough. Like I found it to be very validating for me. As I can speak to my human design type more specifically, like as a projector, projectors are here as like, they call them like visionaries, and that they're guides, like essentially that projectors aren't so much doing like all the little details and things, but they're just like guiding people of like, okay, this kind of like in that sense where they have this, see the bigger vision, and are really good at directing people to accomplish what needs to be accomplished based on their strengths and things like that, So, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that. Another thing about projectors is that we don't have, I forget how they say it, but it's something about like not having a sacral energy, so to speak, which is different than, I think it's a slightly different perspective than when we think about it from the chakra perspective. So I'm not talking about chakra specifically, the system there, but meaning that projectors have what's called inconsistent energy, meaning that they have like bursts of energy where they're super productive, and then they need spaciousness to like rest and chill and just like, be more like kind of just in tune with life and in nature kind of a thing. And then they have another burst of energy, and then they're like productive. And then they have this like output that's like, and then retreat back and like rest. They go through these cycles. Whereas people like generators or manifesting generators, they have what's called the sacral, like consistent energy. So they're like, if they're lit up by the work that they're doing, they're just like on electricity, like bzz, like always going. Like, I don't know.
I can see that. No, I can see that.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, that's just like, basics.
It's a whole, and while we speak, I'm looking at a bunch of things here, and yeah, there's a lot there, but interesting if for people who want to explore kind of an additional layer to help them work well within their own kind of system, and then connect the dots with like, how do we connect the dots between like the understanding yourself and on this level,
Yeah.
then connecting with the right angel for the right thing, or to
Oh,
work
yeah.
with angels that are going to help you given kind of your
Right.
sign and who you are. Like, is there,
Yeah, that's a great
what do you think?
question. I feel like I wouldn't say I don't feel like there's necessarily angels that are specific to like different human design types, let's say, or whatever, but I feel like more it's almost like for us when we understand our human design, it feels like we now have this hyper focused like lens or new filter from which we can view things from, because I do feel like if we think about how we view, let's say, like even something like work or business or this, or even just like any subject of life, like relationships, health, kids, like whatever, we have certain lenses that we're viewing things from, perspectives, because of many factors, including our own generational and ancestral perspectives that are passed down, society, culturally, all these things, right? Like, for example, what's the traditional thing in society? Like Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, that's a job. Like that's what you do. You go to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. But for me as a projector, that is like complete torture to my soul. Like I can't work 8 hours a day. I don't do that
I
in my
think for humans in general,
in general,
but
yeah.
it's very much
Right?
not.
But from a human design lens, it makes me not feel so, or like for all of us, like, oh, okay, I'm not crazy, or I'm not, there's not something
Right.
wrong with me because I can't plug into what society think is like, has
Hmm.
deemed this is the standard of how people should be working, kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I feel like human design can help to bring through a lens to help you understand your own self and help
Hmm.
you to validate how you felt maybe throughout your life or with certain things or how you operate. And then I feel like the angels are more like guiding us in the sense of, like, okay, this is the bigger vision that your soul is working towards. So here's a thing that you need to address. Like, here's like a healing thing, or here's a next step, or here, they kind of help direct us. They kind of keep us
Hmm.
within the past, so we're not veering off over here because we still have our free will. So they are kind of like bringing the nudges of like this way, this way, this way, do this, like focus on this. But it's still up to us. Like, what perspective are we looking at it from? Are we looking at it from ancestral, like old paradigm lens, or am I looking at it from a new paradigm lens? That's something that the angels can't do for us, or they can't, even if they tell us something a certain way, it's all about how we perceive it. So I feel like human design helps us to perceive things from a new lens and then take action in a way that feels more empowered and feels more aligned, because now we're looking at it from a new lens. But the guidance from the angels would never really change. Like that's always the guidance that they're bringing through. It's just like, how am I perceiving it? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Does
Yeah.
that make
Yeah.
sense?
No, that definitely. Yeah. I definitely got what you mean.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. And the more I look at this, the more I'm like laughing here because it's like gift, like creating new things, a vision for turning ideas into reality. There's just lots of things. Listening and collecting stories, like, yeah, that
Yeah.
rings a bell.
Yeah. Yes.
So, wow, this
Oh
is
my
like,
gosh. I have a feeling that after we finish talking today, you're going to be just going down a rabbit hole for the rest of
oh, I
it.
am definitely diving into this and trying to understand this chart and whatever it is that this means.
Yeah. Yeah.
But being the nerd that I am, I'm going to be like, okay, so
I'm going to
creating
understand
new
human
things, that's
design.
Chamuel. So this would do that. Turning things into reality, Uriel.
Yeah.
Like literally, those are the two things that I'm reading as with gift 1 and 2 are those. I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, those are those two angels. So I'm just gonna like
That's amazing.
meditate like this or work like that and do it. So I'm gonna create my own little system.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
That's so
Imagine
funny.
like combining human design system with like something with the angels. Like you could be the inventor of a whole new, the angelic
Use
human design
something.
system.
There you go. Maybe that's another,
You've
creative
discovered your
energy
life purpose.
surge that's going to lead me to that. And I'll be the, human angelic
Yeah.
design system. Yeah. I'll figure this out. I'll connect the dots for everyone. Come up
That's
with
amazing. I love that.
so funny.
Pretty soon
But
you
no,
guys
this
will
is
be
super
able to
interesting.
book your human design readings with Luisa. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. Coming soon.
Coming
So funny.
soon.
But yeah, that's so interesting. I mean, I guess, I mean, we can get, that's just me being just a nerd, but you can get as specific as you want, but also knowing that you don't even need to know what angel, they need to
Yeah.
know. You don't need to know. So at the end
Right.
of the day, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
And you don't necessarily have to do the practice and call on Archangel Uriel Chamuel. No.
Yeah.
It's just like they know when to come. They'll do their thing. You don't need to be a part of it at all.
Exactly.
So don't worry. You don't have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that to yourself. I'll do it for fun, but you don't have to if you don't want to.
If it's not fun, don't do it. But if you
Don't do it.
you enjoy it, yeah.
Then go for it.
That's so funny.
That's,
I love this so
it
much.
is. It's interesting to think about. I mean, I go back and forth with astrology, to be honest, and then of course the universe is just really magical and perfect, and the math and the physics and everything behind it is like there's design and there's a method to the madness, I guess. But sometimes from a human perspective, is like, I was born and the planets were here and there, and is that really gonna
right.
influence me? And when we read our, you have this sign, and then you read your astrological charts and things, and you're like, well, that can apply to a million people, and I can relate to that you're telling me on a personal level. And I'm like, yes, that's so me. But that applies to millions of people that are also a Gemini,
Right.
So it's like, how is this? But some of the things do resonate, and the movements of the planets, are perfect, and the geometry behind the universe and all. So it's undeniable that there's
right.
the architecture of, the universe and how it works. But for it to influence something so teeny tiny like us,
right.
our personalities and our quirks and our things, it's just like, I don't know. I go back and forth. I see it, but I don't see it.
Yeah, I get exactly what you mean too. And then the question that comes up for me then is like, well, like, are we choosing to come in? Like if we go along the belief of like, we chose to come here, we chose who our parents are, we chose like what environment we're going to be born into, blah, 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 like all of that. If that's something that we chose as souls before, does that mean that we chose to come in at this exact moment?
This
you know what I mean?
Because I needed to be a rising whatever, or
right. Exactly.
So maybe we do it at that level, and maybe it's that specific and that perfect that we've
right. Such interesting rabbit hole.
There's nothing random, really.
That
the more that get the butterflies, like there's nothing's random. So the more you think about it, maybe you do choose it even at that level. But the fact that planets and star systems and things have influence on how we behave and what happens here, I guess, is just nuts to think about.
Yeah, it is crazy because it feels so far removed from like our everyday life that we're like, really, like, does it matter what Jupiter is doing or like Mercury and like this? But then but there are effects. Like I notice effects when, certain planetary things are happening and it's like, oh, well, this planet is in retrograde. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense why this is coming up for me then, or whatever.
But then the retrograde, the nemesis, the retrograde nemesis, Mercury is the one that's so awful stuff for all of us all the time. It's like
where it says like communication goes down the drain, this happens, that happens, like all these things.
Mercury again. Right. But yes.
Then is it a way, like, are we just making excuses? Like, oh, Mercury's in retrograde, so sorry you didn't get my text. Like, or something.
That's just us trying to, make up stories. And that's humans at the end of the day. Our whole society and life on earth as we know it, and what we've built here is all built on the stories we tell ourselves. Like,
Right,
we don't
yeah.
need to live like this. This is just something we've come up with, and these are the stories that we tell ourselves, and this is all a construct of,
Yeah.
the stories that we've decided to tell ourselves as humans is what ultimately led to us living in this way. There's no need.
Right.
No need. So yeah, we'll create those realities, and we'll do its thing. So there you go. That
Exactly.
story is also very much real to us.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There
Astrology.
you go.
We need to bring in an expert to talk about human design, about
And
astrology.
Astrology. Yeah.
And
Totally.
astrology. I have my eyes on someone about
Okay.
astrology,
I
so
can't
I'm
wait.
on it. I'm on the case. But if to our listeners, if you have suggestions, if you have experts and people that you want to hear from, send them our way, and we'll make sure to reach
Post
out and
it.
see if we can have them on the podcast.
Yes. Post it in the comments below, and also let us know in the comments what you think about this, what we were just discussing with astrology and planets and just everything. Just everything. Let us know your thoughts, your biggest takeaways in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. We read every single comment. It's just so fun to be able to continue the conversation with these and just diving into all these fun topics and talking about it. So, yeah, post in the comments below. And yeah, I think this was a great conversation. Thank you for
great conversation. Thank you so much.
Thanks for taking us down the rabbit hole. I love it.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay. It was so fun. Until next time, everyone, comment below. Tell us what you think. Suggest anything you want to suggest, any guests or interesting things and questions we should talk about. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.